Welcome to part 3 of working with instructional terms, and the second episode. Today we are looking at outline and explain. One thing you should know about these two verbs is that they virtually are the same. The major distinction or the little distinction that may exist between them is that the outline, in many cases, it is expected of you that your explanations should be linked to each other. So the explanation you have in your first point should have a direct link to the explanation in the second point. Let's look at this sampled question from 2014, which says, outline 4 reasons why naming ceremony is important in your community. So over here, what the examiners expect of you is that the explanation you give as your first point should be directly linked to the explanation in the second point. Then the second point explanation should also have a direct link to the third explanation. Virtually, that is that. Let's look at what the chief examiner said about that particular question. He said, the A part of the question was averagely answered by the candidates. The answers provided by most of the candidates were very brief and not well explained. So as I said earlier, it is expected of you that an outline question should be explained. For example, candidates failed to explain how naming ceremony promotes solidarity, socialization, or giving legitimacy to a child. So some of the candidates just wrote these words or phrases as their explanations for that particular question, which obviously will make them lose so much marks. I did say earlier that an outline question expects of you to explain. And how do you explain? This is the structure for an explanation. You should first have your statement point, followed by your supporting statement, then a practical example, which is very much needed when you are answering your questions in RME. Let's look at the sample question over here, which says outline 4 stages of repentance. These are the points you will need to explain that particular question. These are just points, as we said over and over again, you need to explain. Your first point has to do with realization. That's the culprit acknowledging the fact that he or she had committed a sin, a crime, an offense. Followed by regret, where the culprit will show remorse for the act or the offense committed. Then request for pardon, that is to be forgiven. Then will also vow not to repeat that particular offense anymore. These are what I refer to as the 4 R's. You are expected again to explain them chronologically in order. So you cannot write first, you cannot use request for pardon as your first point, then promise not to repeat as your second point. You will lose the marks. And in your explanations, you would have to try as much as possible to put brief statement there that shows that you are linking the previous point to the next point. We've come to the end of today's presentation. We'll be meeting again.